1 to 4 family contract. We are now at the end of the contract. And at the end of the contract, this is where both parties are going to sign, and this is where it's going to be executed. Okay. Now, what's going to happen typically is the buyer is going to put together the offer, right, with the terms that they want of everything that we just went through, and they're going to sign the contract. Then the buyer's agent is going to deliver that contract to the listing agent. When you deliver the contract to the listing agent, make sure you text that listing agent or call that listing agent and let them know that the contract has been emailed to the email that they've given us. Okay. When the seller gets it, when the listing agent gets it, they're going to present that to their seller. When they present it, let's just say it's an easy contract and we come to terms, the seller signs it. There's an additional step that needs to happen at that point, right? Remember this from your real estate courses. When do we have a contract? When the contract has been signed by all parties and notification of acceptance has been delivered to all parties. So what does that mean? When the seller signs it, the contract isn't valid yet. It's not executed yet, because when the seller signs it, if we haven't notified the buyer of the acceptance of the contract, we still don't have a contract. So once the seller signs it and accepts it, then the listing agent should be sending an email to the other agent or a text to the other agent stating, hey, the seller has signed and accepted the contract. So our execution date would be today. In this case, it would be January 8th, 2026. That date would go here. That would be the 8th of January, 2026. Okay. The executed date is not when it's delivered to the title company. The executed date is when the last party signs and all parties have been notified that we have a contract. That's the execution date. If this was a Saturday, right, which it's not, but if this was a Saturday and we had an executed date, it wouldn't be delivered to the title company till Monday. It's still executed that Saturday. And that's when everything above, all the steps, that all the timelines start taking place that Saturday. Some agents mistake that they mistake the difference between execution date and receipted date. If I go down here, this is the receipted date. So when I return this, take this in on Monday, this is the receipt of earnest money. There's going to be date there when the money was receipted. These may not be the same day. Okay. So yeah, now if the seller counters and the buyer then accepts the counter and they initial the changes or they sign off on the new contract, then the buyer's agent will execute the contract once they sign it and notify the seller of acceptance. Okay, make sure you notify. If it's 11 o'clock at night and you have an accepted contract, right? You notify the other party at that time. Send them an email at 11 o'clock at night. We have an accepted contract. That's when the execution date would be. If we did it at 11 o'clock tonight, it would be January 8th, 2026. All the dates would start at that time. Some agents might say, well, I'm going to wait till after midnight to notify so that our actual execution date will be the next day. Sounds smart, but if another offer comes in and they decide to take that offer at 11:30 at night, your clients didn't get what they wanted, right? And I've thought about that. I've played those games. You will get burned at some point. So once they sign it and you talk to your client, you say, all right, it's signed. It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to notify the other party. So our option period will start today. Everything starts today, even though it's 11 o'clock. Okay, make sure you have that discussion with them. And if your client says, no, don't notify them until after midnight, I'll say, all right, email to them per your instructions. We're going to wait to notify them until tomorrow, until January 9th of acceptance of this contract. Cover yourself. All right, now this is the end of the contract. So this is where they sign. So nothing below this pertains to the buyer or seller. Everything below this is information. Everything above this is the contract, all right? So nothing below this is part of the contract. It's just information, and our contract is actually just 9 pages long, okay?